Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by The Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Mark Doxy, Ranty Flat Earth, Jose, Earth Flattener, and Arwin. Good to have you all.
Hello.
What?
Hello, folks.
Yo, Puerto Rico.
Righto.
Do we have to do housekeeping again?
Yeah. Any signs of curvature?
No.
Nah.
Axial rotation?
No.
Nope.
Pressurized system
I've
next to
got
a
some-
vacuum?
No.
Nope.
Gravity?
No.
Self-perpetuating molten iron core?
No.
What about scientific
I
evidence?
found Bill Miller.
Scientific,
Bill
evidence,
Miller.
Sorry,
Any
I just
sign of
wanted to say that. Sorry.
scientific evidence of
Any
radius?
signs of Bill Miller? Last
Bill
shout
Miller,
out for
allowed to Bill Miller. Any signs of Earth radius though? Scientific evidence specifically.
No.
R.
R.
No.
No signs of R. And Ben Miller?
Last shout for Bill Miller.
Bill Miller. My bad.
Bill Miller, yeah, or Ben Miller.
Don't want to
No, it's
get
Bill.
get my imaginary people mixed up.
Should we call him
William
Bob
Miller.
Marley instead? We'll remember Bob Marley.
He was
No,
talking about
William
Bob
Miller.
Marley. Bob Marley in spirit has left Flat Earth and is now incommunicado. Is that right? No.
Bette Midler.
Bette Midler? It could be Bette Midler.
Yeah, Bette Midler.
Has anyone seen Mike Hunt?
Mike Hunt is definitely a flat earther now. So yeah, good shout out to Mike.
Isn't that the guy? Isn't that the guy that stood in front of his whiteboard with the names? I owe an apology to Flat Earth.
No, that was
Mike
Mr.
Hunt.
That was Mr. Freely. I've forgotten his name. Initials
IP.
IP Freely.
We have to be careful with these guys because if they're going to start abbreviating letters, we have to play guessing names as to who they are talking about.
I think Amanda Hug was the first woman. Amanda Hug.
Has anyone got Amanda Hug?
Yeah.
Right, so that's housekeeping done.
That's housekeeping done. Yes, indeed.
So
No
I,
signs
I
of any
put
of it
in
still.
the I put in the chat the 3 pictures I took last night of the moon. It's got the interesting termination line again. If you guys want to look at that and see what you think.
Yeah. Hopefully someone will bring it up this time without half an hour of delay. Anybody who can bring it up. Which chat? Side chat in the Hangout?
I've got the
I got
the
it.
back chat open, so somebody else wants to do that.
Check it out, Travis. They're falling over themselves today. Here we go. Good on you, Arwin. Talk us through it. Got 3 pictures on screen.
Yeah. 3 of them.
Travis, they're up on screen.
I'm sorry, I was on mute.
My bad.
Yeah, I thought for some reason I put in a different one that was the middle one, but the top one is the one that was early, about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then the middle one, it was just something I zoomed in just to get a different perspective. Let me see if I sent you guys I'll send the new one in just a second. So this was in the the Google, the Hangout chat. I posted 3 pictures. Can you see that one?
Yeah, I think we've got the first one up now.
Yeah, but then the second one's got it's still dark out, and then the line is about 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock.
Yep.
And then okay. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say about it. It's just interesting because the moon was at the same degree in the sky, and it's still there right now. I mean, I had to crook my neck up and almost go at a 50 to 60 degree angle up, and so the moon did not change its degree in the sky, but the termination line was rotating the entire time. So that's just interesting to me.
Yeah, about that Terminator line, you can see as well that their model is wrong on the heliocentric side, because if it was right, when the sun sets, we would see a north to south divide, and it would, like a tsunami, rise off into the distance towards where the sun sets, but it would be in a continuously straight line, because that would, of course, be the rotation of the Earth. And we don't see that. We see what looks like a car set of headlights dipping over the horizon, and that's all we see. So it's clearly not consistent with their model.
Yeah, Arwen pulled it up, but he didn't get this morning's one, so I'm not sure why that didn't show up in the chat.
Where did you put them?
I put them all three in the Hangout chat. I'll do it in the Skype real quick and see if that changes anything.
Anthony, I have a question for you, mate, because you've obviously looked into the sun, but there is something that bugs me with the sun and the moon. And you know the moon, when it goes through its phases, it's supposed to be the sun that's showing the back side, the front side of it, and then you get your terminator line where the sun doesn't reach you. So you've got a nice arch apparently around the curve of the moon. Well, when it's a lunar eclipse, so when it's the Earth that shines its shadow, so its arched shadow onto an already arched moon, shouldn't the moon's curve in the terminator line be twice as pronounced as it normally would be? Because you would be having a curved shadow casting itself onto a curved surface.
I honestly don't know. I've seen videos that some people show that you can get a curved shadow with a straight edge on a curved ball, but if you put a curved edge on a curved ball, I've seen videos that show that you actually get a straight shadow. So it's confusing. You get evidence that goes both ways, and the answer to your question is I don't know.
Nathan, I'm presenting Travis's pictures. The new ones.
Okay.
I can see them.
So this one's the first one in the dark, and this one obviously
Okay.
in the daylight.
Yeah. So those are the. I took pictures at 3 o'clock, at 5 o'clock, and then right now it's 6:40.
There's another one in there.
Well, you have to go back to the original set that I sent you in the Hangout chat. So I only sent you two this time because you already presented the first initial one that was at 3 o'clock. I can do it again though, real quick.
Scroll back. Skype has this new handy function. That's good for presenting.
So it was like a 11 to 5, 1 to 7, and then 2 to 8. Looks like.
Hey, Jimmy. He says, I feel sorry that a collection of people are being hoodwinked by the stupid and con men. This is what that Jimmy that couldn't answer a simple question, what PSI is, calling us stupid.
Told us that it explained, and then when we asked him to summarise it, he says, I don't want to. Kind of thing that gets you kicked out.
You'll be welcome back tomorrow, though. Sorry, someone presenting something?
Yeah, Arwen's got a picture of the moon up.
Right, okay, because it's not coming through the Hangout.
No, I've
on
just stuck
YouTube.
it on.
Right.
It's all getting a bit lost in translation though, so I don't know if Travis wants to tell Arwen what to queue up. I'll take the picture off, and then if you two can have a conversation.
Scroll. Check this out.
Hello, it's me again.
Cool.
So the one that he's on right now was the middle picture. So it's not in consecutive order where he's looking, but that's no big deal. So this one was taken about 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's got a termination line of what 12:30 to 6:30, or 1 to 7. And then if you go to the next one, which is this morning, just about 20 minutes ago,
Hey,
it's
Willy
2 to 8.
Wonka.
Oh boy, hello.
Hello. Carry on. Sorry.
And then the next one,
Hey, how you doing?
this was at 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's 11 to 5 o'clock. So it'd be interesting to. I'm not going to do it right now, but it'd be interesting to see what the surface consistency is, if it's just rotating, and you still see the same surface markings.
All right, let me check that visually. Right, so these two look very close.
Yeah, those two look really close.
Yeah, just look at the arc. The arc on the top half. The shadow seems to be exactly on the edge of that big arc,
Okay.
and it seems to be there right here as well,
Okay.
and here too. So yeah, the entire moon is rotating around
Right.
its axis.
Right, but its axis point is centered for us to look at the moon. It's not rotating as a globe. You know what I mean?
The visual image is rotating, whatever it may be.
Right, like a wagon wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're saying that the lit side of the moon isn't from the sun?
Well, I disagree with that model, only because I held up a baseball, and my first observation that I did back in November, um, the shadows that were being cast by standing objects in my neighborhood had a much sharper um, shadow than the moon. And I was told by one of my viewers that both the house shadows, both the telephone pole shadows would all have the same angle as the moon would, and they clearly did not. So that's the only thing that made me. And if you look, well, right now, if I could put it up to you, the moon again is at about 60 degrees in the air.
Hey, Blame. How you doing?
And
Hold on a second, Travis. Hi, Blame. Can you hear us?
Yeah, his troll account, Nathan. He's part of that the same guy that comes in on about that no guy.
Gotcha. Sorry, Travis.
that's okay. So the moon's about 60 degrees right now, and the termination line is what you can see that you have there in the chat. And the sun is at about 30 degrees to my left, so it's clearly lower. But if you looked at the moon, you would, and this is what I had a discussion with my sister yesterday, and I showed her the picture, and I said, now, if the moon is reflecting the light of the sun, where do you think the sun is? And she said, it's above it, because she understands physics, and the source would have to be above the moon. But at 6 o'clock in the morning, visually, the sun is lower than the moon, so it doesn't line up with the termination line. At least from what I can tell, I'm just looking at it. You just think this is not receiving a light source from something above it.
Unless it's down to perspective, in which case what appears to be
Right.
lower than your position isn't actually lower than your position. It's just being brought down. So it's the reverse of all of our arguments when we talk about things coming up to the midpoint. Well, the sun's doing the opposite, but it doesn't mean that it's below a terminator line, below your feet on the other side of a sphere. It can very much be above you with perspective.
Oh no, right. Yeah,
When I think about, can I input something like in these daylight moon footages? Yeah, you could pretty much argue that the sun is now over the horizon, so it's always going to be in sight, while the sun is supposedly much further away than the moon. So if the moon is going to be seen with the sun in the same sky, then the sun should technically always be in relation behind the moon in the heliocentric model. So this type of image on this photograph suggests that if they were balls, that the sun would be slightly behind you, facing towards the moon, just in an angle, because yeah, it's being lit not from it's being lit slightly in front of it. Otherwise, the shadow would not go like this. It would be lit exactly from this direction, then it would be a straight line down the middle. But if it is actually really far away in the same sky, then it should always be behind it. And you should never be able to see this. It should always be like a sickle, always, because it is behind it.
Looks like a World War II helmet.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does, huh? Full Metal Jacket.
it is weird how that works out. But yeah, supposedly, according to the heliocentric model, the moon is much closer by than the sun. So if these bodies are both in the sky at the same time, then the sun would always be behind it in relation to the earth, and the shadow would always be like a sickle,
Well,
as long as they're both in the same sky.
Jason McCormack in the chat appears to be desperate to join the panel because he's screaming at the top of his voice. It's a half sphere PHUCKS, like cutting a ball in half. Well, please join the panel and tell us about it, seeing as you've got so much to say.
What it is as being a half of whatever is not the issue. Our issue is the termination line.
Yeah. The so-called shadow needs to be consistent, and if the sun and the moon are in the same sky, visible, and they were balls and the sun was extremely far away, then the terminator line, the shadow, so-called shadow, should always be like, yeah, on the side of the earth viewer, and would never be like this. It would always be sickle shaped, as long as they are both in the same sky visible, because the moon is supposedly a lot closer than the sun, so it always will be behind it, causing the moon to shadow like a sickle and not like this. See, it's very simple.
Nathan, was there more to your point in terms of talking about the fact that the sun is actually elevated at some point, but because of perspective, it looks lower? Was there anything else you wanted to
No,
flesh out?
No, not really. I just wanted to hear your take on it. Good stuff.
But that's what you were saying. That's what you were saying, though, that from perspective, the sun looks lower in the sky right now, but actually, it's going to be in the same arc. It's going to be in the same circuit. In reality, it's just that from perspective, it looks lower to us. So it is going to be elevated and up there, however many leagues, however many miles, right?
Right. Those impossibly lit moons are only possible if you take a perspective view on things and say, well, yes, it might look like it's coming from behind the horizon, but in reality that's just the narrowing of the angle to nothing, and the sun is beyond that distance, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's any higher or lower in the sky. We have no idea what the sun is, so we can only speculate. But what I am going to say is that if the rules of perspective are true, and as far as I'm concerned they are, then the sun must have the same rules applied to it.
Right.
All of the heavenly bodies.
Right. Anything
But,
you look
yeah,
at.
but they do kind of like not. It doesn't point out that they are in physical exact locations over the earth or anywhere, but the miraging effects due to diffraction do appear as the heavenly bodies go closer to the horizon. That's why we get the sun reflecting or the sun shrinking, those kind of effects as it approaches the horizon. So we do get that. But they're
one of the other
visual
things,
phenomena being subjected to the diffraction effect.
one of the other things I found interesting the other night when I was shooting the moon was that I was also shooting Mars, and the moon was relatively stationary while the zodiac was rotating. Significantly, you could see it within a couple of hours how many degrees it had shifted, but the moon was basically, just sitting there. That was interesting.
Hmm. Quiet day. I was saying in the chat on the last show, where are all the champions of the globe? These people are quoting other people's arguments to us. Where are the people that are active and anti-flat Earth? Why aren't they there here defending their position? Why is it that we've got people like Milo and Jimmy being the champions of the globe? That's really the best that the globe have got to throw to a public debate about this subject.
Well, they sent in a 15-year-old a few weeks ago, if you remember.
Yeah, it's absolutely pathetic. A guy who sat on Red Rhetoric's panel is the guy sent here to champion the globe. Sad.
Well, Nathan, they won't come in because it's two reasons. It's because they think that you're unnecessarily aggressive and therefore they are victims of being bullied. But the second one is that they're trying to boycott it and stop everybody from going in so that you have no show, basically, because the damage that you're causing. Basically showing everybody that there is no evidence to support the assertion that we live on a spinning testicle. And I think you're doing an admirable job, and long may it continue. Just check your script, mate.
Can I just say, when they started this boycott, they were getting 120 live viewers when they started the boycott. Now we average over 200 every single day. So keep up the boycott, boys and girls.
Yeah, it just draws more attention. Like, hey, if they're boycotting us, then there must be really something here.
And
But
Gio,
can I add? They don't want to be. Sorry.
Gio,
they don't want to be on the
chamber.
record. They don't want to be on the record presenting their religious belief without backing it up. Just words.
Yeah, and it's not an echo chamber, Gio. The link's public. Anybody can join. Gem Panda wants to come in. Mark Taylor wants to come in. Slice Barcane wants to come in. Wolfie wants to come in. The door's open to these guys. Red Rhetoric, you want to join? Just click the link. Tell us how stupid we are.
Yeah, that's the only way to get it out from being an echo chamber is to get you guys come in.
Bill Nye, you're welcome to come in. Neil deGrasse, etc. Joe Rogan, come in.
Mick West came in. He didn't last long. He got wrecked. Absolutely wrecked.
Some silly person in chat is shouting CGI wind turbines.
Oh, are we talking about awake assholes?
That would be a good subject to talk about because you just made a video about it and it's flat Earth related, so have at it.
Who's this coming? Isaiah Padilla? Hello?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Good morning.
Hello,
good morning.
Good to have you.
How are
Sounds
you?
like No Globe. Is that No Globe?
Doing all right, doing all right.
Good to have you.
Hey, Nathan.
So yeah, go ahead, Ranty. Tell us all about your video about Awake Souls because it's definitely flat Earth related.
Oh, he basically said that I took a soundbite out from his live stream from last night. It was only a couple of minutes worth, and it was essentially the Limitless Channel guy going on a rage. No, it wasn't the Awake Souls guy going on a rage about saying that this show is all fake, all CGI. We argue about CGI stuff. We don't get anywhere. We have fake fights. We don't really fight with each other. It's all put on for a show, and it's all about the views.
Can I just say that the only bit that's really offensive in that all that list that you just said is that he thinks that the fighting's fake?
No, how dare you say it's all about the views? That's outrageous. Please hit the super chat as well.
Oh, he missed off the super chat, did he? Oh, bad.
Well, he probably did get around to talking about that, to be fair, at some point. And but he was mainly his actual title of the debate. Hang on, let me get this up. Just oh, hang on. Just one sec.
Hang on a minute.
Right. So the title of his live stream was "Beyond Flat Earth calls out Daryl Marble exposed in capital letters and Dearth exposed faking evidence." He then, within the first 20 minutes or so, he's discussing a video about me calling me having fake evidence again, and then he calls out you guys calling you fake. So he's literally gone on a rampage last night, calling everybody flat Earth, that they're all fake. He's a bit of a prick, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Yep.
But there are these divisive people. There's him, I will say, Dell, Antonio.
Nah, that's unfair to compare Dell to him.
Antonio. Yeah, but the three of them, what I would say is that they are trouble causers. They like to set division going off in the flat Earth. And to be fair, I started a Skype group last night where I'm going to hopefully try and bring in a lot of the flat earthers to band together and basically realize that we are on the same team. There's no need for all this infighting, and hopefully we can work together. So it's already got quite a few members, so it looks like we'll be pulling together soon and working cohesively.
I agree. So where's my invitation?
I was saying about flat earthers.
I am a flat earther, and you know it.
I know, I'm only teasing you.
All right, so where's my invitation?
Did you not get it?
No.
Oh, right, okay. I'll double check that later.
All right.
Stop making fake evidence as awake souls. Let's have a look. Do you want to dig out just a random turbine video, Ranty? Literally any that's got turbines in.
I think hang on. It might be in turbines actually. I think I have one called turbine. Just let me.
Can you take it from the real file, not the CGI one, please?
Yeah. Oh right, okay. The real one.
Yeah, the raw footage, not the CGI footage that you put out on this channel.
Okay. What's this one? I think I've actually got a video up on my channel. Let me just. This was especially for awake souls who didn't believe it. Might be a 3-minute video or something. Let me see if I can dig that out.
No worries. I mean, the point of doing this is kind of because of a Dilly Gill video where he's basically applying to NASA for freedom of information disclosure, same as Jaren's asking for, or similar. And he's saying, look, if you can't provide us with the full reel of unedited footage, then it lends credibility to my argument that this is edited because it's the only bit you've got in the 0G plane that you're filming it all in, or some of it in, with some in the studio. So it adds credibility if you can't show the full reel to the argument that the full reel doesn't exist, or they show the full reel and it shows them setting up the shot. I doubt he'll get that, but you know what I'm saying. It adds credibility. So in the case of Ranty's images, he does the same thing every time. Because he's had criticism 12 months ago for some of his observations, I can almost detail what we will see. We'll see Ranty turning the camera left to right 180 degrees to show his location. Then he'll point it down and show how high he is. Then he'll take the camera off the tripod and get low to the ground. Then he'll zoom in. Then the observation begins. So he shows where he is, what he's doing, and there's no cuts, there's no edits, there's no adjustments, nothing. It's as raw as it comes, and everything that comes onto this show, not everything, that's an exaggeration, but nearly everything is shown to me in advance. Ranty tends to be, I hate to say this, Ranty, but quite excitable when he gets something good, and he wants to share it, not surprisingly, and I'm always keen to have that information presented to me. So, Ranty will phone at 7 a.m. and go, look what I got, it's amazing. And I'll go, you're right, it is. Wow, that's so cool. You must present that. So it's not like he's going home and spending 20 hours editing literally thousands of different clips to be presentable for the globe. What he's claiming, I mean, I don't watch Awake Souls, but I watched Ranty's video this morning and there was a little section of what he was saying, and it's absolutely ludicrous. I don't really understand why you could have the feelings that we are not only promoting the globe, but going to the extent of faking footage to promote the globe. I mean, this is the most outrageous thing I've ever heard. But that's what's being levelled at us by apparently a fellow flat earther. I don't really get the logic behind it unless it's just a drama ploy to get more attention to his channel. I don't really understand the motivation behind it. Clearly, we're not here promoting the globe. We're stoving globe heads in to the point where they no longer want to join the panel, and who can blame them? but that's not promoting the globe, Jason. I don't really understand where you're coming from. I've got to be honest. It makes no sense to me.
Let's not forget that his view is that unless you debunk his assertions that are presented without any evidence to prove the truth whatsoever, unless you can debunk that assertion, then I don't know. He seems to think that the assertion stands, not realizing that he hasn't even proved it with any credible evidence whatsoever at all. I don't know what goes on in that mind of yours, Jason, to be honest. I'm sure you've got the best of intentions, and I'm sure that you genuinely believe the things that you say.
Really?
But you can't make assertions without any evidence to support them and then expect people to quote to debunk them. It's ridiculous.
Are you seriously sure he has
No,
the
I was
best
being
intentions?
I was being polite.
It's more like sarcastic.
Yes,
I don't.
stick
I
me
am
on
pretty
present,
sure that Awake Souls does not have the best of intentions. I'm pretty damn sure about that.
I don't understand what his motivation is.
I don't know.
I actually think he's
a
a
cult.
cult,
He wants to be the sole ruler, dictator of the cosmogony reality, however he sees it. I don't know. He certainly doesn't accept people disagreeing with him for whatever reason.
Oh, he says, my intentions are to destroy your echo chamber. Why would you want to destroy our echo chamber?
That's such positive motivation, man. It's
It's not
so
an echo
constructive.
chamber. It's a public show. Anybody can join. So earlier on the previous debate, we had Jimmy, who was on the show before. Literally anybody can join.
Am I presenting, Nathan?
No, sorry.
Oh, right, sorry.
Wasn't paying attention, sorry. Yes, you are now.
Turbine.
Sorry, is this the start of the video?
It is, yeah. And this
Okay.
is I actually did this and make commentary throughout it, talking about Wake Souls and saying, how'd you like this, boys and girls? So I might upload this to my channel because I don't think I actually did upload it.
Wow.
But he will claim that this is evidence of curvature that I'm inputting into the video to try and show that it actually is a globe.
Can I just say, and I mean this in the nicest of ways, Ranty can only just about work Microsoft MS Paint. So trying to manipulate videos on the fly is not within his remit.
Well, that only goes to show how good he's gotten at Microsoft
No,
Paint.
that's a
Look
crap
at the
argument,
CGI.
Anthony. That's a crap argument. That's like the Globe saying it's not possible to fake the moon landings. That's like them saying that.
Well, if he's made all of this in Microsoft Paint, man, you're a master. It's really, really good.
Yeah, this is it's getting more and more complicated, isn't it? It's
It took a lot of work to get this. I mean, the CGI that went into this was ridiculous.
How come they've
Took me
stopped spinning? What's going on there, Auntie?
What?
Looks like
Isn't
they're
this a
not-
loop? It's just looping.
Why isn't it? Well, yeah.
Not
As
allowed
you were
to say
panning
Luton
across
on this show.
As you were panning across, it looked. As you were panning across, it looked like they were all static.
Some of them were. Don't forget, they're a different wind farm, aren't they?
Oh, so some of them weren't turned on.
Yeah. So because you're looking through different sets of wind farms, so you get like Barrow's nearer than Ormond and stuff. So they might have switched Barrow on and Ormond are off. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. These look like they're turning.
Yeah, it was a glitch in the Matrix.
Oh, look at that boat.
CGI boat.
Now,
Ron,
could you
go back to
scroll
that
back?
boat.
That looked really interesting.
Go back to
Ron.
the boat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go back to the boat. About 10 seconds. And then try and freeze frame it.
I will.
Because it looked like it was another one of those guess
It
where
was
the
floating.
horizon moments is.
Let me start from here.
After this, it's when it goes back the other way.
Yeah, okay.
No, just leave it. Just leave it. We'll get there eventually. It's only, what is it, 3-minute videos. Not like we're in any rush. Got it nice and big for the audience.
You see,
And there's a lot of wind turbines.
It is.
he doesn't have the ability to comprehend what we're trying to teach people.
There it is.
Oh,
There
there
it
it
is.
is.
Oh, it's a
That's-
platform.
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 Wow, look at
Wow.
that. Oh, no, it's a platform. It's an oil platform.
CGI platform.
I wonder why that's not behind the curve.
It's a robot. Look at that.
Yeah, bummer. Oh well. Can we have a look at another one? So I'm going to do this with you a little bit, Ranty. It's going to be a bit like the Ranty-a-thon, I'm afraid. But I just want, because that's it's a
right,
complicated shot. So I'm going to put up a different shot. So this is a different shot that gets played on repeat, just because it's artistically cool. This might have actually been. God, you're going to tell me this is Coolpix P900 now, aren't you?
Hey, what this?
The one on my screen.
Oh, I can't see your screen. Am I not displaying anymore?
Well, no, I've just taken you off while you get a different video up.
Oh, right, sorry.
I just wanted to show that you've got multiple shots that, if it were CGI, let's just go to your, so you can actually see the files. If it were CGI, it'd mean every one of these files, one after the next, would have to have had you do this to it. Is that the same oil platform?
Sorry?
Is that the
No,
oil
that's
platform?
To be fair though, Awake Souls, I just want to credit you for your pointing out on when you were on the Reds Rhetoric and Sean Hufford hangout on the non-sec show. You pointed out that the horizon or the waterline on one side of the bridge was wonky compared to the other. That was a good shout, mate. Give you credit for that one.
Yeah, I agree. You know, credit where credit's due. I hadn't noticed it. In fact, I don't think any of us had noticed it.
But we're seeing the same effect. Am I displaying again, Nath?
Still a knob though.
We're seeing the same thing with the wind turbine blades when they encounter this mirrored water layer. They bend and double back on themselves. This is from a lower elevation, obviously, and this is the ferry. And can you see it looks nothing like the ferry now because it's going through this atmosphere, and this is what the atmosphere does to it. It warps and distorts stuff. There's no going over the curve here. This is simply just blending into the. It will blend into the horizon, into the air.
Oh,
CGI fella that walked through the screen. But
nice little detail there.
Yeah, you got to think outside the box. You see.
Yeah.
It makes it look more realistic. That.
So what was the observer height in this?
I believe around about 8 feet.
All right, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Next.
For the height of the person.
Next. Let's see another one. Let's see how many hours you've spent doing CGI. Just go to the next file, Ranty.
This is the next file.
Oh, my bad. Did you click? I didn't see you click forward.
I just clicked the next button.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
On the right.
You know what? I think that Ranty actually has a holodeck, and he used those £1,000 to basically do an upgrade, a software upgrade.
This is very cool. So if you can pause it when one of those wind turbine blades, is in. There you go. So yeah, perfect. That is Ares diffraction. That is a narrowing of the field of vision to the point where it's narrowed to nothing, and at that point you get Ares diffraction, which is precisely what we're seeing. So this is, I'm going to guess, pretty damn calm. Am I correct, Ranty?
Yes.
Right. So in other words, the water is not dissecting the midpoint. So you do get to see where this narrowing of the angle is down to nothing. And at that point, you will lose things bottom up because the angle is too narrow to see things that have had an angular size reduction, and it is mathematically calculable. So what we are seeing is perspective. This is absolutely unequivocally the effect of perspective, and the proof is in the Ares diffraction, which is along, as with every single image where we see Ares diffraction, the full length of the image. Now, according to Bullshit Bull, you've got that diffraction happening and being curved back around a sphere Earth. It's never been modelled, it'll never be shown, it never will be modelled, because Ares diffraction is what it is. So modelling in Ares diffraction would mean conceding perspective and putting perspective into an orthographic model, which you're never going to do. The Globers are never going to do that. So you'll never see this modelled, but we can account for it because that's what it is. It's a narrowing of the field of view down to nothing, where you get that field of vision decreasing to nothing. You will have objects that are reduced in angular size beyond what you can physically resolve to the effect of Ares diffraction, which you can see at the horizon. There it is. That's why those turbines bend in and out of that zone. Simple.
Yes.
The slant.
Yeah.
The blades themselves aren't physically bending. Of
course not.
That's important to think. And you can see that the boat itself is being mirrored down upon itself. So that's a mirror reflection of itself. It's just being hidden behind that mirror reflection. The bottom of the boat is hidden behind the watered mirror layer.
And you can see the same things with the wind turbines, the blades. They're also mirroring down. See?
And this turbine here is further away than this turbine. Angular size, reduction at distance, getting smaller. This is what happens.
So the further the bottom of that wind turbine is away, the more reduced the angle. Therefore, you have a bigger angle to the top and it is still visible, despite the fact it disappearing from the bottom up. Couple that with the fact that the objects themselves are reducing in size because of distance, i.e. this one in the foreground is smaller than this one in the background. That's perspective. We are seeing perspective. That's all we are seeing. And all the curve calculator has done is hijacked the effects that we see here. That's all it's done. It's converted what we see, perspective, and called it curvature. It isn't.
And the hubs of the actual turbines are above the watered mirror layer, so they're not actually suffering from that Aries diffraction, which is why they appear, they're looking in the entirety, the hubs. But you see the effects of on the blades. What happens is it pulls it down into the zone. So the furthest one away, which will be, let's see if I can get another video. This is another video. So we might see one that's further away, and you'll see that it's actually been almost sucked into that Aries diffraction zone. I mean, look at this blade here. Look how it grows. Actually, let's go back a bit. So I want you to concentrate on this turbine on the left in a minute. I'm going to pan across. So yeah, so when you see this blade hit about the 5 o'clock on this turbine, so whenever the blade hits the 5 o'clock, watch it extend. Look how it grows. Look at it extend. Can you see how it's growing? This one. And now this one, it grows, it extends, it grows. It's the atmosphere is, the Aries diffraction is pulling it down when it physically isn't there. That blade should be going around about here, but it's being pulled down below the horizon. In fact, you can see it on all of them. Whenever it gets to like 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, they're being pulled right down.
I can't wait till you get your P1000.
Can you see how it's being pulled down, Nath?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we had comparisons of that boat in the near foreground as opposed to where it's situated in this shot, it would undoubtedly be less squashed. So you would see that, again, down to the fact that it's in the distance and we have a narrowing of the angle to what we can see, even the bits that are above the point where you have an angular size reduction, because obviously the bottom of the boat, the reason it's in Aries diffraction zone is because it is limited by its angular size at distance. That's why you have that effect. But we've also, thanks to Ranti, had demonstrated what happens as it goes into that distance. So you see it getting squashed. So the Stena line is the best example of that, when you've got the lettering getting more and more condensed at the bottom, but you can read the whole writing. Whereas if you did a blink test, as Anthony would put it, the globers would have the two boats and go, look, this one's clearly further around the curve because it's being more obscured. And it isn't. You're seeing the effects of perspective. It is being forced into that narrower band because it's further away. So you have a reduced viewing angle to it, the entirety of it, not just the bottom section at that point. So the whole thing's being squashed. But the top half of it, which obviously has a wider viewing angle from your vantage point, isn't squashed. So you can demonstrate this, and I'm sure you would, going forward, you'll get this time and time again on all of this. It's not coincidence or CGI, that's being able to demonstrate this time and time again as you flick through these videos. It's there because it's there. It's there because it's reality. It's there because what Jason thinks is us engineering in curve by means of CGI is actually the effects of perspective which they have hijacked. We're just now not scared to look at what they typically say. Look, there's a set of turbines going over the horizon. That means ball. No, you're affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy doesn't prove anything, but we can demonstrate what is actually happening with the line of sight when we use perspective, something that is completely omitted from the begging the question proof of nothing perspective omitting curve calculator. And the reason it's omitted is because it is perspective. They've just hijacked it. They've called perspective curvature. So the reason we're seeing things that in Jason's mind is us fabricating curve, no, those are the effects of perspective, which typically, that's why the panel's empty in terms of globe heads now. We know what the effects are, and we're demonstrating them and getting to the bottom of what actually causes these effects to occur. Not assert with the begging the question fallacy that it's a ball with a presupposed radius and then reel off what they've studied in terms of perspective as curvature maths. That's not what we're doing. We're trying to figure out how the world actually works, and we're getting there slowly. Thanks to the work of people like Ranty and Anthony.
Well,
and
you
Mark
see,
and so on.
this is obviously compressed.
Jose.
If you look,
Sorry. I just didn't want to just limit it to you two, so I wanted to make the list a bit longer, but it's my bad. You carry on, Ranty.
Sorry, yeah. So this is obviously compressed here. Now, if you know the videos that I've been putting out about these buildings and showing you the compression over different distances, you look at this building here. Well, this row of it's like corrugated sheeting roofing that goes across here. It's on a road that's in almost a direct line to this here, which is the larger buildings in Barrow. However, these are only about 80 feet. These are only 80 feet, but we're still seeing them. They're squashed. That's all that's happening. So we are seeing all of it. Again, it's just the compression at distance. So when we look back at the wind turbines here, and you look at these wind turbines being pulled down, and you can see the boat being pulled down and squashed, this is exactly the same thing that's happening because it was filmed on the same day. That's why it's in the same folder. If you look at the lighthouse, you can tell that's being squashed too.
That's cool. I've not seen that before. So you can see the lens of the lighthouse and the lighthouse below it, but it's like a little stubby thing. Yes. Obviously that's not proportionately representative of what the lighthouse is, but it's all there. You've got the bottom and the top. You can see it. So obviously it's squished.
It is. In fact, this entire video shows this entire peninsula is squished, but all of the buildings are still there. That's why I pointed out the 80-foot buildings that are between the Devonshire Dock Hall, in front of Devonshire Dock Hall, because that's important to note that they're actually in the...
Look at the clock. It's like short and fat. Fat clock.
Yeah, everything's here.
It was clock. Nobody give me any crap in the comments. I did say clock.
But everything is here. It's just that it's squashed. And this is just exactly what I've been showing with the different, going on different days, different locations, further away, nearer. You shouldn't be seeing these. Yes?
What's that yellow thing?
That's like there's a few of these actually. They're in the water. It's just like, I don't know whether it's some kind of guiding post to keep the boats from going in this particular area because they might drown themselves.
Would you say it's more proximate than the lighthouse? The lighthouse is.
Oh yeah. It's only a mile and a half away.
Okay.
It's where the bulge that should be obscuring.
On average, Randy?
18 miles.
So yeah, that buoy or whatever the hell it is in the near foreground where the bulge that should be obscuring these buildings should be. But it's flat as a pancake all the way between the beach where Ranty's standing and those buildings that are now very squashed on the horizon due to a reduced viewing angle because he's increased his distance for this particular observation. Can you now, for comparison, Ranty?
Well, do you know I've not released this video yet?
I didn't. I do know that. Yes, this is cool.
I've got this many stuff. This is just another part of the arsenal. This 80-foot corrugated sheeting roof should not be seen. In fact, none of these buildings should be seen. That's just a simple fact. But the stubbiness of the lighthouse, for instance, and these buildings here, which are down to 50 feet in height, you can still see them. You can see the white parts are still trying to be shown, but they're just squashed.
Well, what I was going to say, Ranty, can you go now to the most recent observation you made yesterday, which was a little bit closer?
Let me have a look, see.
So your comparison to this one, you're probably 5 miles further up the beach.
I'd have to get the GPS on this to see exactly where I was. Right, let's see what I can find.
Take it off you for a
Date
second.
are we on today?
But you know the one I'm talking about, where I was noting its artistic quality as opposed to its flat earthiness, because obviously closer means less globe debunking as far as the globe heads are concerned. Whereas who cares? You know, it's obviously and observably flat as far as I'm concerned. But when you get closer, you're obviously increasing your viewing angle. Therefore, you get less squashing. Therefore, it looks more artistically beautiful. Therefore, you can see the buildings more clearly. Simple.
Right, I see. Right, got you. Let me just see if I think it might be this one. Where I go down to the. Oh yes, yeah, this is
That's
it.
it. Okay, I'll put you on. This is your latest observation point, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yep,
it's
cool.
a bit nearer. Oh, you see that post there?
Yeah.
On the left, that's one of the posts, and they're in the
Gotcha.
line. There's about 3 or 4 of them that go directly out, so due west from here. So I think they're kind of markers of some sort.
Gotcha.
That's what those posts are.
Did you hear that,
So,
Travis?
what?
I was just asking. It was Travis's question.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, so this is the new location, and
Sorry, Randy. Can you just move your mouse off screen?
it is.
Oh, really? Anyway.
Can you see that? Can you see that?
You can see it. It's just I was saying, can you move your mouse off screen every time we've got one of your videos? There we go. Beautiful.
Sorry.
It's okay. Just move it back on because now we've got the black line at the bottom. So if you move it into the black section just to the right of the picture, it'll get rid of that black scroll bar. There we go. Beautiful.
Right. So there's the lifeboat station that's actually in the water. Some, I don't know, is it 14 miles away, something like that. So there's a lifeboat station in the water, right? I'm only 4 feet above sea level here. There's Peel Castle. I think I'll go back to show you that in a minute. There's the town centre of Barrow, which is over 15 miles away. And here we have obviously Walney Lighthouse and the rest of the buildings in Barrow. But look at that. I mean, you're actually seeing the rooftops of the chimneys of the building behind the sand dune. So there's a sand dune that's attached to the lighthouse, and it has 3 chimneys on it, and you can actually see them. So we're actually seeing floor to floor. You can guarantee that top of the lighthouse is only 69 feet to the focal height of it. Hello, am I still presenting?
Yeah, it's all going really well. Everyone's paying attention. I mean,
okay. I'm being spammed in Skype, that's all.
Oh,
I keep hearing ding, 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 ding.
Fortunately, we're not. But this is great because you can see, even though this is very calm water again, you can see
the
effects
it's not actually.
Oh, is it not?
It's pretty choppy, actually, yeah.
And well, what I was going to say was you can still see the effects of waves rising up beyond the midpoint so that they obscure more stuff in the background. Simple. You can see it happening in real time. Swell.
Well, apparently this is all CGI. Let's not forget that this is all down to Awake Soul saying that all my evidence, all my photography, videos, are all CGI. So the fact that we're seeing shore to shore here of a distance of 15 miles plus.
He's just busting your balls. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It's just a tactic.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got some footage of some oil rigs off of California, but the cloud bank just would not burn off, and so it's not very clear. But they were about 9 to 11 miles out, and I'm going to try to work on putting something together. There was a sailboat that was out there as well. It was interesting to see it, watch it approach the rigs. So I'll try to do something and put that together.
Pull the camera and take whatever you can, man. You might find a piece of treasure.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm hoping with the P1000, I should be able to get this kind of quality imagery from distances of 19, 20 miles away, because it has a much bigger zoom and it's in 4K as well. There's Peel Castle. So that's actually on a little island outside of Barrow. And I think the building itself is only like 35 feet high. So, and again, we're seeing shore to shore. So where's the bulge, people?
Yeah, it's flat as a pancake. All we're seeing is a little bit of Aries diffraction.
Anyway, I've not seen Awake Souls or Limitless channel do any kind of photography. I think they've got a GoFundMe or some kind of, they're asking for some kind of donations to do an experiment. I think it's in the the many thousands of dollars to do this.
Really?
If you feel like donating, head on over to their channel because I'm sure there'll be
Experiment, you say? What kind of
Eh?
experiment?
It's something to do with a water level thing that they reckon is going to destroy any globe.
See? Fascinating.
So they'll collect the $1,000 by next year, by this month next year probably.
Say again, Jose?
Limitless channel, they will collect the $1,000 by this month in next year probably.
Yeah, how dare they e-beg for money?
Someone's actually
Outrageous.
left a bike. Someone's actually left a bike on the beach. Watch this as I zoom out. I mean, I only just noticed it before, but watch this. You'll see a bike right by the water. I don't know where he went. Maybe he went for a swim. Trying to zoom out. There we go. See the bike at the bottom here. Someone
Random
left an old
bike.
bike there.
Frankie, that's CGI. Come on.
I had to put something in to make it, more CGI.
Good stuff.
Yeah, don't know what the next things is. CGI
You're gonna
beach.
you're gonna have to make some video tutorials on how to CGI videos on Paint, from SS Paint.
Yeah, and how to do them in batches of 20.
Finish in a minute, in periods of time of 5 minutes.
Every single day.
Yeah. It's relentless, really, all this programming you've got to do.
Oh, this is CGI again. Look at this. CGI. Come on, focus. It does focus on the next one, I think. There we go. It's in this different grey band of
Yeah, I noticed
Harrington
that. What's
water.
that all about?
I have no idea. I do see it quite a lot, though.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think that will form, on the Isle of Man pictures that Anthony got, he gets what looks like multiple layers of that, but because it's, this would be what you're looking at now would be the halfway mark for Anthony in his observations, but between that halfway point, even though it's half the frame, it's only representing 100 foot, but you get multiple bands like that one.
Yeah, you do.
So I'm thinking, maybe a comparison between these and seeing what you've got in terms of how the ocean, or the sea in this case, represents itself, compared to Anthony's. See, but I've got no clue. I don't know what that band is. Weird. It's almost like the tops of the crests, isn't it? It's almost like you can see a wave on the horizon. Maybe that's all it is. It's just you're seeing the crests with more light coming through the water. You can see more white waves on that bit than anything else. Do you know what I mean? You can see, what do they call it? Where they break and you get a white bit.
The crest?
Yeah, it's like you're seeing the crests of the waves more in that particular section, that banding.
But look at the colours on this. There we go. If we go back a section, look at the different colours here.
Yeah, I noticed that just a second ago too. It is very strange. Like you've got a stripe through the water. Could just be an effect of the camera.
Effect of the CGI.
That's probably a current
rendering
line.
issue.
I think it's what, Travis, a current?
Yeah, because I saw a lot of those on the beach, and there were some dolphins, and they seemed to be following the current, and they would stop and almost find a school of fish and just be, spinning around and frothing up the water. So that, to me, when I saw that, I just thought that looked just like a current.
Is there a river mound very near there?
There is actually, yeah.
Then that should be it, because river mounds, they roll up a lot of dirt from the sweet water, and they basically push this into the sea, and that will cause that color difference because it's not salty yet. And yeah, the fish really like that stuff.
Is that the River Mersey?
I'm going to round out shortly, unless there's anything else you want to show us, Renty, or anybody else for that matter.
I just want to know if Jason still thinks this is all CGI.
Still in the chat, so I'll give it a couple of seconds. What's your reaction, Jason? Finally got some spotlight on you in this show, so see what he says from the chat. Well, we've got Limitless channel. Think this is a debate? Well, we're literally debating you now about whether or not this is CGI, Ronnie. So yeah, I do. Limitless channel. We have had spotlight longer than you. Yeah, that's not really the question.
CGI?
Do you still think it's CGI?
I think Awake Souls thinks everything is CGI.
Not a debate. That's still not the question. I've got about a 3-second delay. Ah, here we go. It's not all CGI. The turbines. Where's it going? The turbines with their heads below the water is CGI.
Oh yeah, by the way, in that note, he claimed earlier that for some reason there was no angular size change in the wind turbines. That's what he claimed. So he's looking at it from a ball perspective and saying that Ranty is faking this footage with CGI to make it look like a ball while simultaneously explaining how the optics work from a flat Earth perspective using perspective and Airy's diffraction and the optical slant. It's a great feat of mind twisting yourself. It's very talented at delusion.
And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live panel for making this debate possible, and of course a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, you know exactly what to do, but if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you have not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!